But if y'all play that interview, somebody getting snatched off the pulpit, don't play the interview. It's not clear. It was out of bounds. Me and Pastor Bryant need to talk because the way I was treated was dirty and illegal.
In the middle of the podcast, he says something that I believe he says something.
Right.
That his lawyers came on the set of us shooting, saying that this is broaching something that has legal ramifications.
Okay.
I then say, in the middle, said, hey, man, this is a live to cut podcast. I don't do editing.
I just care about my kids. And I care about what they think. And I care about what they believe. And I don't want anybody to recreate something that's not real inside of their mind to leave them in doubt. And so to do that, I would have to risk all the money I have, all the money I made, all the money that I'm getting paid for, to be quiet, to not say nothing.
Yeah.
You sit.
And what is the cost? How much more does it cost you for your peace?
I don't know. Because if you tell me a crazy number, and maybe I need to go to church for this. But
Come
if
on.
you tell me a loud number, then I might take it.
Yeah.
And say F the truth because my kids is extremely good, which is horrible. What does that say about me?
Mm-hmm.
$1 billion?
Yeah.
That's a crazy number. 100, 200, 300,000. But then when you're dealing with like the 4s and the 5s and the 10s and the 15s, I don't know. That's not. So when I'm saying it's not enough, I'm still trying to understand what I'm saying if I want to live in my truth. If I want to live in my truth, then F the money.
There's a weight heavy on this man. The demons are heavy on this dude. Give that all to God. Expose that darkness that you're talking about. Screw the money. You've already experienced it. You already know that it doesn't fulfill you. You said it. It does not fulfill you. It doesn't mean nothing to you, but you know that it's a bottomless pit. You're always going to want more and more. Even if you got $1 billion, Ray J, you're still going to want another B. You're still going to want to experience that rush of building that business again and getting rich again and getting $1 billion. You're still going to, it's a never ending cycle. That's bondage. Go to God. Expose the darkness. Speak on it. All right, y'all. Let's get into this story, this Ray J story, this Pastor Jamal Bryant story. This is like some reality TV church. This is all it is for real. I'm not buying any of it. There's only one part that I'm genuinely interested in, and that's what Ray J said during the actual interview, during the podcast with Jamal Bryant. He said some very eye-opening things in terms of his willingness to take money in order to suppress or essentially not tell the truth, which was extremely eye-opening. And I want to show you the context in which that came up. But all the other drama, him threatening Jamal Bryant and him apologizing, and this is just reality TV 101. And Ray J is a reality TV legend. You can't fool me. I grew up watching For the Love of Ray J. You can't fool me, bruh. I already know the game plan. I already know the tricks. I already know the marketing schemes. I already know what's up. You can't fool me. All right. But for those of you who do not know what's happening, Ray J was on a podcast with Jamal Bryant. And for whatever reason, Ray J got upset. There were some things that were said during the podcast that Ray J didn't want to be aired, allegedly. And Ray J posted this video. Let me play this video.
Got nothing but love for Pastor Bryant. Shout out to Jamal Bryant. Shout out to Von Alvarez. But if y'all play that interview, somebody getting snatched off the pulpit, don't play the interview. It's not clear. It was out of bounds. Me and Pastor Bryant need to talk because the way I was treated was dirty and illegal. And I don't like it. And I don't want nobody to play that interview. I don't care if you from the church or not. Like be respectful and do people right. Don't call people out their name and don't make people feel like they not safe in a place where they thought they were safe. I'm telling you right now. We need to work it out. Because if we don't, that's going to be a problem.
I'm telling you right now. I don't believe none of that. Pastor Jamal Bryant, he was on radio show, what is it? Ryan Cameron Uncensored. And he responded to these quote unquote threats. Just take a listen to what he had to say in response to it. And then I promise I'll show the actual part that I find interesting in this whole situation. I'll show it after this.
One final question. You got threatened.
Yes.
Sure.
By
And stop.
Yes.
I got threatened.
Yes.
Not by white supremacists.
Yes.
Not by the Klan. Suge Knight is in jail. Who did I get threatened by?
By an R&B singer.
Not Brandy's brother. It can't be.
That's all we can call him is Brandy's brother.
When you woke up,
Yes.
because I'm sure like most of us, you hit the alarm or you get
Yes.
up or Miss Carrie nudges you.
Yes.
And you saw your phone.
Well, he prayed.
Or after you
then
he
saw his
put the
phone.
feet. Well, he
Yes.
always does
Yeah,
that.
first.
But I'm just saying,
Yes.
when he looked at the phone and you saw all what went through your head?
So I'm walking on the belt line.
Okay.
I'm walking on the true story. I'm walking on the belt line, and people are passing me on the belt line, saying, "Are you okay?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Somebody else passing me like, "Man, keep your head up."
Wait.
So I was like,
I'm
okay.
just walking on the belt
Yeah,
line. I'm
yeah,
fine.
yeah. So I'm just thinking people are just greeting me.
Right.
I get to the end, and this guy I don't know says, "Man, I guess you won't be going to the West Coast for a while." I said, "I just came from the West Coast."
Right.
So he said, no, with the beef with you and Ray J. So I said, "No, I don't have no beef with Ray J. I was just with him last week."
Right.
So he says, "No, he's threatening you online." I have no idea what you were talking about.
Right.
So a pedestrian on the belt line pulled up their phone and showed it to me. That's how
you
it is
found
that I
out
got
about
it. Yeah.
When you saw what he was saying.
I was in shock.
Okay. What is it that, I know you
happened?
said you were
Yes.
going to stick to the code
Yes.
and the parts, it was a safe space. He said, I thought this was a safe space. And if you air the interview in its entirety, there's going to be problems.
Yes. So a week ago, I'm in L.A., and I bring him on to record the podcast. In the middle of the podcast, he says something that I believe he says something.
Right.
That his lawyers came on the set of us shooting, saying that this is broaching something that has legal ramifications.
Okay.
I then say, in the middle, said, "Hey, man, this is a live to cut podcast. I don't do editing.
Right.
But this is my guy.
Right.
And I don't want him to have to pay money. I don't want to be liable. I tell you what, I'm going to edit this part, but anything else he says,
Right.
we gone.
Because he's been warned by his lawyers.
Right.
already,
Yes.
So he knows that.
Yes.
Okay.
We go on and record. At the end, Ryan, of us recording, he's like, "Man, I really needed this. I'm going to come back to church. I've been out of church for a long time. I need to get right with God. I want to do a part 2. I said, "Oh,
So I think after watching the entire interview that he's talking about, and we'll get into it right now. He did apologize though. He did. Let me play this real fast. I know I said I would show the interview, the part that I, wanted to show y'all, but let me just play this real fast just to kind of show y'all how silly this all is.
If I want to apologize to Jamal Bryant. It's not okay. Speaking that kind of language to a pastor is unbelievable. It's uncalled for. It's disrespectful. It's distasteful. It's disgraceful in every sense. I don't care what I said it for. No matter what prompted me to say that. And Pastor Bryant knows some of the stuff that I was going through. I was going through it in the interview in real time. But to show my frustration like that is not cool. Saying I'm gonna snatch somebody off the pulpit and they a pastor is being blasphemy, or on that same level, whatever that means. It's not okay. My bad, Pastor Bryant. I apologize, man. I lost it. I'm human. People go through stuff, and I was very angry because I'm scared that some of the stuff I said that I wasn't supposed to say could affect me legally and stuff like that. So I just lost it, and I shouldn't have said words like that. Pray for me. If you would have me at your church next time you are fellowshipping, I would love to come through and pray with you in person, pray with you with the whole church. I apologize to the whole New Birth. And whenever you are preaching again, or whenever I can come through on a positive tip to just say I'm sorry personally to you and the church and the fellowship, please have me. I would love to do that as well. And again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you, my mama, my daddy. I come from the church, and to say those things is foul. And I was foul, and I'm sorry. Okay? I'd love to see you soon, and we pray together about it, and hopefully you can knock off some of this negative energy around me and around my soul, man, you know, and we can start fresh.
I will say this. He is deeply troubled by something. And we're going to get into that next. He's deeply troubled by something. It doesn't take too much to see that. It doesn't take too much to see that. And he even talked about he told this story about how he fell asleep on a roof in Mexico. And if he would have rolled the wrong direction while he was asleep, he would have fell off the roof, and, you know, that would essentially have been it. So he has these thoughts. He's idolizing these moments in terms of, you know, him losing his life. He's deeply troubled by something. I don't know exactly what that is, but one could only imagine the world that he lives in, Hollywood, the spotlight, the fame, the fortune, having access to abundance of all kind, the demonic spirits all around him and all around that industry. One could only imagine that he's seen some stuff and he's been through some stuff and he's participated in some stuff that is clearly weighing heavy on his spirit. But with that being said, I've seen that before, bruh. I'm sorry, Ray J. I've seen that before. Like I said, I grew up watching Ray J on reality TV for the love of, I grew up watching it. Those of you who know, you know. If you don't know, then don't even worry about it. Don't even look it up. But I grew up watching Ray J. I've seen some phony apologies in my day, and that is given faultiness. It's given fraudulent. You know what I'm saying? Some red flags. Let's watch this interview. Here's what I was gonna say. I promise I'm gonna play this because this is why y'all came. I promise I'm gonna play this. I think the thing that Ray J didn't want aired, and this is complete speculation, but just based on watching this interview, I think it had something to do with the SEX tape between him and Kim Kardashian. I think he probably shared something a little bit more in detail. Some stuff that we've probably already speculated before publicly, but I think he might have potentially confirmed some information about that tape and about the origins of that tape that his lawyer didn't want to put out, because the other side is lawyered up to the max and they would have came knocking for sure. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But in the context of the conversation that they were having, it would make sense if you watch the interview that it naturally came to that point where he exposed some stuff, because it still weighs very heavy on him based on this interview. So I think he probably said something that was in an attempt to clear his name from that tape and put more of the blame and more of the fault and the focus on that family, the Kardashians, and their involvement and origin of that tape, to kind of take the pressure and take the blame and take the negative connotation off of himself and place it more so on them. But obviously that would have came with tremendous legal ramifications. So it's no surprise that his lawyer asked Jamal Bryant to take that part out. if the assumption that I'm making is correct, because I could be completely wrong. But that's just what I think. Okay, let's play this.
That people have literally watched you grow up or have grown up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like everybody's like cousin that they love and hate all the time. You know what I'm saying? They love me sometimes and then they hate me sometimes. But we all been growing together.
Yeah.
And we all make mistakes. And I think throughout my mistakes, people have probably made mistakes too, right? And so whether relatable or not, I've always just been, willing to hold myself accountable and be apologetic and take the L and learn from it. So I think that's why I'm able to continue to keep going, because I can watch myself do something bad and nobody really has to tell me that was bad. I can see it and I'll make the adjustments.
It's not really a mistake when we learn from them.
Absolutely.
That they are lessons.
Absolutely. And they're needed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wanted to ask you, we have seen 3 to 4.
Listen, he's going to segue into a question. The way that he asked the question was insane. In my opinion, it was crazy how he set this question up. Just listen to it.
Iterations or chapters of your development and your growth from when we first were introduced to you. Oh, that's Brandy Low Brother.
Yeah, I love that time.
Yeah. Tell me why you liked that time.
Just because there was no pressure and I was just having fun. I didn't really want to be in the game, but Brandy wanted me to be with her and she supported her little brother. And so I was everywhere with her. She put me on all the videos. And so at that time I was just living life, you know what I mean? And with no pressure, no bills, no nothing, just talent and just somebody like my mom, dad, and Brand that just kept me motivated.
Do you feel like that was your happiest season?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I really, like through every season, like it's been going so fast, I really haven't got a chance to look back and just like absorb everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Because there's so much. And sometimes when you do that, you might fall into either a depression inside of a trophy room that you're trying to catch up to again, or you're trying to reach for something that I think will already meet you there as long as you just put in the work and as long as you just let the time do it.
The second chapter or iteration we were reintroduced to you as an adult was through the tape. My question is not about the tape. My question is, how has sexuality impacted you in your identity?
How has sexuality impacted you in your identity? I'm just trying to say, is that not a crazy question? Was that not a crazy question? Maybe I'm just immature. But that was given shades of when Nicki Minaj asked if he was going to come out the closet. That was a little, hey, I don't know. Let's see what he said.
So there's layers to this answer. So there's the comedic
Yes.
side to the answer, and then there's a more serious side. The comedic side keeps me I guess, I'm trying to find a word. The comedic side keeps it fun. But there's a really, really, really dark side to it. And
listen, don't be upset because I keep stopping it. I have to stop it. I have to talk. All right. Otherwise, y'all be saying, oh, you just be playing videos and blah, blah, blah. I just repost it. No, I have to talk. I'm having a conversation because I'm actually interested in this topic of what he's about to say. He goes into the dark side of it. But before that, he goes into the comedic side, which I think is just more or less a coping mechanism to try to mask his pain, because I think he still has a lot of pain associated with this, a lot of trauma, and there's a lot of demonic spirits that are still present in his life as a result of what took place. All right. So he's going to say something crazy, but then after he says the crazy part, he gets into the part that I really want to have a discussion around. All right.
it's like if you were looking at a therapist and they said, okay, he did his jacket. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Something's changing, right?
Yeah.
The comedic side, I would say, it's crazy because, it's like, everything is 10 times bigger on TV, right? Like we all are, like when you see me on TV, a lot of people say, damn, I thought you were taller.
Right.
Because everything is what? You get 10 pounds more on TV? Is that kind of, right?
Yes.
That goes for all body parts.
Right. Yes.
So it's been a lot of disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're expecting to see. It's been tough for me. It's been tough.
Right. But the good news is that's not who you are. It's not who you are. You're a new creature. All of us have the good news, if nobody's said it to you, you've outlived the past.
But have you been born again? We keep talking about all this new creature talk just based on the standpoint of you being in your 20s, and then now you're in your 30s, and now you're in your 40s. And you would think over that time period, there would be some progression, which there is some progression. People mature, people grow, but also people mature in their sin, and they grow in their sin, and the bondage increases as they get older if you don't address it. So you could be, quote unquote, a new creature just based on the standpoint of time and your experience being more vast. But have you been born again? Have those strongholds been broken? Have you been washed by the blood of Jesus? Have you repented and asked for forgiveness? There's a difference, because if not, then essentially you're just bringing those spirits with you along the way. And the bondage is getting stronger and stronger. And this is what I'm seeing in this conversation, specifically on the side of Ray J. He's got a lot of bondage. A lot of it is tied to sexual sin. A lot of it is tied to his love of money. A lot of it is tied to just this whole notion of being successful and idolizing the success. Because he talks about it over and over again, that he grew up in the church and that his parents, made him go to church. And if he missed church, it was like missing school. He talks about all of this, but throughout that time, there was no establishment of a relationship with God. It was a knowledge of him. It was exposure to the church and to the people in the church, but there wasn't an emphasis on the relational element and the obedience and the sacrifice element. And I think we're seeing where that leads to.
You've outlived the past. Look how much business you've done.
But I think the business side of it and our real skills is in like marketing, right? So I think our survival in the game is inevitable, because we do literally have the skills to create a business with the right partners, and it becomes successful from the ground up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's just like dang. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Dang. Man, that was cold, Pastor.
No, we being honest. Let me help you another way. So some years ago, I was up to become president of a national organization. I didn't get the job. I was crushed. I was devastated. The next day is the first time I went viral because I preached these hoes ain't loyal. Because I was preaching out of my pain. I was preaching out of the process. So my behavior was connected to stuff I hadn't resolved inside of me. A lot of people don't understand.
I'm just telling you right now, if my pastor preached these hoes ain't loyal, I am not sticking around for that message. I don't need it, bruh. I don't need it. Keep it. Keep that one in your pocket. Keep that one up here. That you can write it down, but just keep it with you. And I don't even know what he was even talking about in that message. I'm almost tempted to go look it and see if it's on the internet. But that sounds a little wild.
Live under the light. It doesn't just shine, but it burns. It's a lot of pressure. So people who have not walked that path don't understand the decisions that you made, or the choices that you've made, or the actions that you've made.
This is deep. Yeah.
Is that not true?
No, it is, but dang.
Yeah.
Dang, Pastor.
Yeah, so you live through it in various ways, and it's harder for you to bounce that off of people who haven't been in that light.
No, it's real. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. Yo, so I should go deeper.
Please, let's go scuba diving.
But if I do, now I'm saying this because depending on like the situation I'm in right now, like I could go there, but I might not be able to go there. Meaning I might have to say we can't go where that is because I'm at a crossroads in this situation where it's either truth or it's money. And so I'm choosing truth, but a lot of the team is choosing money.
Yeah.
And so we're at this crossroad where it's like, I want to choose the truth anyway. So it's like, so I don't want to choose the money. But it's messed up because how much money?
Yeah.
You know, how much is it? You know, it's like, I don't want to choose the money, but it's 100 million. Or I don't want to choose the money, but it's 45 million plus blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't want to choose the money because it's 4 million. That ain't enough, right? So am I not choosing the money because it's not enough?
Yeah.
Or do I not choose the money no matter what it is? You get what I'm saying?
I do. But here's the reality. More people commit suicide who are wealthy than commit suicide that are poor. More people are on behavior modification drugs who are wealthy.
What do you mean behavior modification drugs?
That are dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety.
But what is that? What are the drugs?
Oh, I don't know the drugs.
But you said behavior modification drugs.
I'm not a pharmacist or a psychologist.
But you have to have a list of...
Then you name them.
I'm trying to understand where they at.
I'm saying the drugs that deal with depression.
So like Xanax.
Okay.
Percocet.
Okay.
What else, Pastor?
Whatever's on Future's last song. Name them.
With a lot of...
Yeah. Name them.
Oh, Adderall.
Yeah.
I don't know if Adderall, that's not a depression. That's not. Well, my friend, he's a recovering drug addict.
Yes.
He knows all of them. He's a retired crip. He's also a successful real estate agent. So he turned his life around. But yeah, no, Doc, you.
The truth is free and it's expensive.
But you hit me right now. You stun me. You stun me. So for me, it's like, how do people, because again, when we're talking about that situation, and I say that because I'm trying to stay to the subject, but without digging in, even though it's almost 20 years old.
Yes.
I got 2 kids now. It's a total different perception, a total different angle. I feel a totally different way about it. Being now that nobody really cares, right? So when this comes out, you would probably see people say, we don't care. It's, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel too. But in people's perception, like if 50 years from now, am I the bad guy?
No.
Why not?
Well, let me go backwards and ask you a question. This is not legal. There's no money connected to what I'm getting ready to ask you. One of the hardest obstacles for people to jump over is not perception, but shame. So have you, in 20 years, gotten to a place to get past it yourself?
The only reason why it's still in the forefront of my mind,
yes,
is because I haven't been living in my truth.
Okay.
So not living in your truth, but living in this avatar that gives you an unlimited access to having fun.
Yeah.
Not giving a F, doing what you want to do, knowing how to run businesses, and still let the character overshadow the intelligence behind the whole setup of everything people are watching, like it's accidentally happening. You know, being, I think 100 steps ahead of everybody by knowing things that other people don't know. That is a character that can only play out in certain phases of your life. And then when you get more mature, you start to go, well, how much longer can we deal with that character when it's not really 100% authentic to the world's perception?
Yeah.
And so I said a lot, but I didn't really say nothing right there.
No, I got it.
But if you want to live the truth and you're not, it doesn't feel good. So for me, like money and all of these other things, like I made too much money and I blew all the money. I know how to spend a lot of money today. I know how to save it. It doesn't do anything. When I take my daughter to school or my son to school, and this is hypothetical, but if my daughter likes a school that's 5 minutes away from me, And she wants to go to that school. So you have to get an assessment or something. Right? You have to go to the school and they have to meet with the kids and I guess do their due diligence on the family, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll accept you into the school. There's a school that my daughter didn't get accepted to. And there's only one reason why. And it leads back to where we are again with the truth, the lie, and this clash between false enemies. And when my family gets affected by it, it turns me into something else. And I don't want my family to continue to be affected by this story that never stops, right? I mean, I want it to stop.
Right.
You know, I mean, of course, the other side wants it to stop because they don't even talk about it, right? I don't like to talk about it. I would like to put it to rest. It's like Jesse Smollett. I don't know if what he said was true or not. I talked to him. The world created this story about what it was. And then when they felt like they found the truth, it just took, it took a energy of its own.
That's why I said, excuse me, before I played the video, that's why I said, I think it has something to do with the speculation around how the tape came to be in the first place, because he's been painted to be the villain in this scenario. But there's been a lot of speculation that it was more mutual and potentially premeditated, allegedly, in terms of how it came to be. And I think, as I said, I think he went down that road during this discussion, and his attorneys told him to reel it back because they weren't ready for that smoke. Because he keeps talking about he's not living in his truth, and he's burdened by his inability to speak the truth. And I don't know if he's just talking about this situation or just in general, if there's other things that he's burdened by that he's not able to speak the truth on, but he gets into that even deeper. But it's clear that he's burdened by the truth and his inability to not speak the truth, because as a result, he's been painted as a villain when there's probably multiple villains in this story, but he's having to take all of the responsibility from the villain standpoint on himself when he knows that that's not true. Now, this is purely speculation. This is just me listening to what he's saying and just filling in the blanks, because obviously we don't know what happened. But clearly he's burdened by something, and he even goes even further. Excuse me. He even goes even further into it, and he talks about basically that, this is going to sound harsh, but basically that he's a paid puppet, that he struggles with the idea of taking money, or actually taking money in exchange for the truth. And he's still struggling with that. Let's continue, and then you'll see what I'm talking about.
What if none of this I was saying and how it all popped off? Like, everybody can tell you, I know what really happened. What really happened? Can anybody tell me what they think happened so I can, because again, how it happened reflects who I am.
Yeah.
Especially when we're dead and gone.
Yeah.
Because there is no more us. So what do people think, right? How did this whole thing come about?
Yeah.
It was Ray J's fault. Ray J did something bad that turned into good. Is that not the story?
I don't know. What I do know.
So, Pastor, you're saying that you only going off of just us doing it?
No. What I am going off of, I want you to hear my intention. Whatever happened, whoever put it out, whoever produced it, whoever recorded it, where I am is you have outlived it.
But how, when we still talking about it?
Yes. Because outliving it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But outliving it means outliving it. I haven't outlived it because I'm still living.
You're living, producing, you're thriving.
I know, but that's just something like, think about how far we could go without that.
Yeah.
Without that glitch.
Yeah. Is it a glitch?
It's a glitch.
Yeah.
It's a huge glitch.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali said, if you're the same man at 40 that you were at 20, you wasted 20 years. You're not that same man.
Totally different.
Correct?
Totally different.
Yeah, but we're not going to ignore you used to be Cassius Clay.
But
Right.
I was not the same man in my 20s.
Right.
Just because now I'm 40 and I'm around.
Yes.
But I was never the man that was in people's minds of who I was ever.
Right.
I was never that guy.
But you're reinventing that guy every day. Whether it's through electric bikes, whether it's through earbuds, whether it's through eyeglasses, now if it's through networks, we are seeing you as a 21st century Renaissance man. Very few.
Man, I wish we could see the full interview, because I see what Jamal Bryant's trying to do. He's trying to bring, he's trying to make light of it and change the perspective that Ray J has of the situation. But Ray J ain't going for that. He's still, it seems like this is something that he still deals with pretty regularly. And something that is still troubling him. And that's why he keeps saying, like, bro, I'm not over it, because there's some stuff, and who knows how dark it is, but he said it himself that there's a dark side to this story. It must be pretty dark, because he's not going for any of this perspective altering conversation. And that's why I think he really got into it, but then he had to reel it back for legal reasons.
Men, black men, have had the luxury of reinventing themselves in public.
You're right. And I feel that. But I also feel like it's a glitch, because with all the things that was taken from us inside of this black ball community of cornering the market with just a few, it just, like, I was hanging off the roof of the hotel in Cancun. And I climbed off the roof, and I went off to the side of the roof, and I just laid down, right? So here's the hole down all the way down here. And I'm just laying on my roof. I climbed over and I lay here. And I went to sleep. And I said, if I fall off, then it was meant to be. Right? If I fall off the roof because I just passed out and actually just wanted to, like, lean over, then it was meant to be. So I went to sleep for like 2.5 hours, and then the hotel caught me, and then it went through all of this stuff, and then I had to go and do these tests or whatever, right? But at that moment, it was just like, yo, you want to make your family proud, but you're living a lie. And still living.
Yeah. What is Ray J's truth? What's your truth? Had you rolled off of that roof, you would want what remembered about you. Now,
and let me say something. I think, personally, I think he wants people to have this conversation, Ray J. I think he wants people to look deeper into this, because ultimately it sounds like the quote unquote truth would in some way, shape, or form not clear his name, but you know what I mean. It would clear his name in some sense. And that's why I was saying in the beginning of the video that I wasn't buying all this fake beef and this apology. I think that was all just to drum up promotion so that more people would watch it and that more people would be interested in it. That's what I think, because I actually think he's saying some real stuff right here, because you can see it and you can hear it. But all the other stuff, all the beef and stuff, I'm not buying it. I think he wanted a lot of people to see this.
other people say, not what other people think, not what other people blog. If you are able to have authority over your legacy, you want your legacy to be what?
I want my kids to have a good life, and for them to live through my truth.
Yeah.
Not through what the things that would happen with all of these different speculations of this and that and all of the, just whatever it is. I just want my kids to go, okay, this is who our dad was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really care about nothing else. I just care about my kids. And I care about what they think, and I care about what they believe. And I don't want anybody to recreate something that's not real inside of their mind to leave them in doubt. And so to do that, I would have to risk all the money I have, all the money I made, all the money that I'm getting paid for, to be quiet, to not say nothing.
Yeah.
You sit.
And what is the cost? How much more does it cost you for your peace?
I don't know, because if you tell me a crazy number, like, and maybe I need to go to church for this, but
Come
if you
on.
tell me a loud number, then I might take it
Yeah.
and say F the truth, because my kids is extremely good, which is horrible. What does that say about me?
Mm-hmm.
$1 billion?
Yeah.
That's a crazy number. 100, 200, 300,000. Wow. But then when you're dealing with like the 4s and the 5s and the 10s and the 15s, I don't know. That's not. So when I'm saying it's not enough, I'm still trying to understand what I'm saying if I want to live in my truth. If I want to live in my truth, then F the money.
Yeah. What at this tick of the watch?
It's an eye-opening conversation. Because he said he's still trying to figure out if he wants to live in his truth and what the price associated with that would be in terms of how much is he willing to give up to live in his truth. And that's why I said, you're essentially saying that you're a paid puppet, that you will compromise the truth in order for a paycheck to benefit you and your family. So if you know something is false, or if you are choosing to suppress something that you know is true in exchange for a paycheck, then you're a puppet. And I'm not trying to be like rude about it, but that's essentially what you're saying. So what is more important to you, the money or what actually happened? Because it seems like the money is more important, but then at the same time, you're so deeply conflicted by it. It must be some really dark stuff. So instead of playing with the money, because he's already talked about how he's teetering in terms of his idea and perception of the value on his own life, he's teetering. He's contemplating that idea. But then he also said that he made a lot of money, that he spent a lot of money, that he saved a lot of money, that it really doesn't do much for him. So if the money doesn't do much for you, and if you've already experienced abundance in finance, and that doesn't do much for you, then how come we're having so much trouble revealing what this truth is? How come this is so haunting? And this is why, and I don't know, well, I watched the whole interview, but obviously this is an edited version. This is why you gotta turn to God, bruh. You gotta understand that everything on this earth does not matter if you do not know Jesus Christ. If your faith is not in Jesus Christ, it does not matter. It does not matter. There's a weight heavy on this man. The demons are heavy on this dude. Give that all to God. Expose that darkness that you're talking about. Screw the money. You've already experienced it. You already know that it doesn't fulfill you. You've said it. It does not fulfill you. It doesn't mean nothing to you, but you know that it's a bottomless pit. You're always going to want more and more. Even if you got $1 billion, Ray J, you're still going to want another beat. You're still going to want to experience that rush of building that business again and getting rich again and getting $1 billion. You're still going to, it's a never ending cycle. That's bondage. Go to God. Expose the darkness. Speak on it. Like if you're so concerned about your legacy, you exposing the darkness from a quote unquote legacy standpoint, that's going to do far more for your legacy and for your impact, because wow, you gave up this money. You put yourself in legal harm's way, quote unquote, in order to expose something that you know is not right, that is dark, and that is demonic. Interesting conversation. I didn't know this video was 42 minutes long. Let me know what y'all think, man. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.